3, 2, 1, go! Run, run. Run, run.
And so it begins.
Repeat to you.
How many people are there again? Well, we'll check in a minute.
Yeah.
Microphone muted.
Keep moving.
Let's see if we can head over to that gas station, maybe.
Yeah.
Make our way to the town.
What, Mike?
Mike? First aid kit in it, and I'm going to 2 of those.
I'm gonna check these buildings.
Yeah.
Clear. Nothing in here.
Shut up.
Anything there?
Nope. Find anything? Alright, let's not worry about these buildings, but, well, let's research them. Yeah.
So it would appear that Thomas and John have formed a alliance, as they are brothers, which is quite obvious. And we have Shady here, who has armed himself with an N-Law and a QB set, I believe. He came quite close to encountering us, but not close enough to actually cause any meaning between them, who remains currently unarmed, so Ice will be looking to stay away if he can. Let's check in on Speed briefly. Speed, after crossing the river, is still running around the town. Fuck all knows who... Who the fuck knows what he's doing? And P is relatively close by, also looking for any supplies. Shady might have an eye on ice. Let's take a look. So, we see Shady climbing up the mountain here. He's trying to get up the castle tower. Meanwhile, Ice has ran down the forest to the northeast. He's probably about a couple hundred meters away now. Let's see if he knows that Ice is around. Well, we know that.
Hi, Zeus. How are you, Zeus?
We know that Ice is off to the northeast, but I don't think he knows that Ice is there, so Ice might have just gotten away with it for the time being. Let's take a look. Yeah, Ice is out of there. And Shady is thankfully looking the wrong direction.
You know, I can hear you. Right?
for
Like you're
Ice.
right here in front of me. When you do the thing in your inventory, I hear that.
Yeah, he's hearing the interaction menu where I open my
To
compass.
loot.
You see that little
That did
animation,
make me
so
very,
he knows
very
when I open
sad.
my compass,
Just
but
saying.
other than that, he doesn't know that I'm here, or he cannot. He also cannot hear what I'm saying, which is crucial. But now that Ice seems to have gotten out of dodge, let's check in with Napalm. Napalm went off to the northeast. He's still searching for some buildings. I believe he's not found any gear as of yet, so he's still looking around. Let's see. Looking back at T. T is laying in a field, having acquired himself a Negev and an N-Law as well. So he's looking to be a possible player for killing people. So looking back at Speed. Speed is in the middle of the town, still looking for anything. Checking in with Thomas and John. They're on the vehicle. It's two.
Must have just got like other players.
Yeah, especially if that it's coming.
I saw two people go down to sector 9.
Okay, sector 9.
The group, so not sure who it was.
Might have been T and Speed.
Maybe.
That would make sense.
So we got brief update. Shady is back on the again after moving roughly towards Ice, but not too close. Napalm has found himself a quad bike and seemingly some weapons. Let's find out what he gets. He found himself an L85 A2 with a grenade launcher, I believe. That will be quite useful for him in the coming fights. Turning back into Ice. Our poor man. Oh, he's found a van at least, that's something. Searching a building now, but I believe he won't find much in that town. Not unless he's searching in the other places. Shady, though, still doesn't know that Ice is there, so while things are tense, they are not exactly confrontational as of yet. Looking back at T. T might have an idea that someone's here, I'm not sure yet, frankly. He is kind of stalking and take it easy, but he could also be paranoid. He is near Speed, who has now armed himself with a G36E with a grenade launcher. And that, I believe it's no, he's got the dual optic, so he's gonna have a 4x and a 1x optic on that with the grenade launcher. Quite useful. Although P would still likely hold an advantage in most fights due to him having a higher magazine capacity and an anti-tank launcher. Speed is definitely nothing to be scoffing at as of the current time. Checking in on Napalm, let's see if he's found anything else outside of that L85. Well, he's just got that and no attachments it seems, but probably some ammo and first aid for himself. Meanwhile, Thomas and John
I'm just looking at all of these in case Gunner's gonna put a goodie in here.
are definitely quite well armed. Same
The sector 4 is closed.
G36 as Speed for John, and Thomas has the same G36 except with a desert camo variant. T and Speed are looking to be entering a fight here shortly. Let's shut up and listen. Looks like we'll be looking at the first kill here. I don't know if they fought each other already or fired a single shot. T definitely knows he's there. I don't know if Speed knows that T's there. Speed is looking generally uninjured. So if they've exchanged shots, they haven't seen each other, that's for sure. But he's definitely been spooked by something, so I reckon they've exchanged some fire. I think Speed's gonna be plugging out here. We'll see if that keys are potentially done it. Team might be here in the vehicle now, but that would be about it. Looks like Speed made it out of this one for now. So, with that in mind, Wojciech is now moving towards the airfield, getting closer towards John and Thomas, who are looking to be quite the deadly pair. We'll see how the dastardly duo does when they actually come across other players. Napalm is still all by his lonesome, and Ice is currently being stalked by Rat. No clue what happened with Shady. There's Shady. Shady's got himself a vehicle. Shady's doing quite well and continuing looting. Speed though definitely made it out of dodge. Question is whether he can control by coming back. I don't believe so. Looks like things are moving slowly towards the airfield. No clue where Wojciech has gone now. Ah, there he is. Wojciech seems to be searching the nearby town. Nothing going on as of yet. John and Thomas know that Speed is coming.
Nothing in there.
Let's find out here by listening in a bit.
I think we should start making our way to Sector 9.
Yeah, Sector 7 will be closed at some point as well.
Yeah, let's just stay in foliage.
Looks like they're playing the stealthy game. Wojciech is coming down the road as well, so it looks like this might be quite a major engagement. Speed's coming up on them now.
We need to conserve stamina so we can actually aim.
Yeah.
John has got unconscious by the vehicle.
That's me, Tommy.
Wojciech is unconscious due to a grenade launcher from Thomas, and Speed has traded shots and gotten injured and unconscious. It looks like just like that we have 3 players down. Thomas has become the winner of this engagement. John got hit by a vehicle and might be
User left your channel.
Ooh, John is back. He woke back up after that fight. Thomas is executing Speed on Wojciech. Well, sadly, that gambit didn't pay off for Wojciech. Wrong place and wrong time with Speed being ready with a grenade launcher. Looks like the dastardly duo survived this fight to fight again. Lucky for them.
I need to heal.
User left your channel.
With that in mind, let's take a look back at the map. Shady is now moving closer towards T, but T remains unmoved. I have a feeling he's just gonna hide out for the entire thing. Ice is driving around with a van, probably searching for another loot. Oh! Oh no! I apologize, I've missed something quite major. Wojciech seems to have woken up and killed Uncon John and killed Thomas. Looks like Thomas didn't quite finish the job well enough.
Your channel.
That's it for them.
User left your channel.
In a unforeseen turn of events, Wojciech has woken up and chosen violence. Somehow. Let's take a look at how injured he came out of that fight. Without joining this group, ideally. Okay, it looks like... Let's see, he got a minor revulsion. It looks like...
Of course my game chose the worst fucking time to start freezing up.
It looks like bandages fully healed. No, Wojciech got a Zeus heal. It looks
What?
like. He doesn't have any of his wounds left over on this person.
That's fucking bullshit.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna definitely fucking...
I remind you though that I am recording this, so please try and keep your grievances limited. Thank you.
I'll wait.
I mean, you can blow somebody's DMs up, just let's try and keep it off the recording. Right, checking back in on the map as a whole. T and Shady are driving towards each other yet again, looking like they're gonna meet. Ice is looting a can that Shady's already looted, and Napalm is around the mountain area. Looks like T's not hit his mark there with his shot, sadly. That won't be working out for him, but the question is whether Shady will come back to fight or whether he'll choose to escape. We'll find out shortly here. Looks like Shady's Shady's choosing to make his position in the tower here. And it looks like T is likewise hunkering down in the fire station, finding a nice place to hide probably. No other players are currently in conflict, but 2 are out. Again, somehow Wojciech coming back from being unconscious after being grenaded by Thomas. Speed got killed by Thomas as well in that engagement. With Wojciech initially looking like he was going to lose, but in a turn of events, Thomas and John were killed by him post waking up. So Wojciech has survived through quite a lot of luck. It looks like in the chopping block it'll be either Shady or T that'll be up, looking to die. Yet again, Ice, Napalm and Wojciech are near each other, but not in direct conflict. Shady is definitely taking a cautious look as to where he got engaged, but he might be realizing that that's not much of a view by seeing some apartments over there. Meanwhile, T is very cautiously scanning behind that dumpster. No, none of the players are in each other's view, but of course they have no idea. It looks like T might be choosing to fall back further through the grass. It's a bit of a precarious position to be in, but as the players have no line of sight at each other, it should be fine for both. And again, Wojciech, Ice and Napalm remain in the same area, but outside of conflict with each other for the time being. There is a potential that Napalm may get an angle on Ice to engage on each other, but they don't know they're there, so I believe that will not be getting acted upon. So let's turn back to T and Shady. Yet again, both remain cautious. T hiding out in the small hill here, and Shady remaining in his building, continuing to scan the surroundings, but not finding anything. T has decided to bug out from the fight, it seems. It looks like he'll be taking the chance to run away while he can. Considering how his last 2 engagements with both Shady just now and with Speed earlier went, where both remained with no clear victor, it might be the best idea for him to bug out and avoid a messy fight. It looks like this will also delay Shady a good bit in terms of his looting, as he's gonna choose to stay there until he'll find out that he's gone, so we'll see how that pays off for Shady as well. Looking back with Ice. Wojciech is driving right past. Will Ice choose to fight? Looks like Ice is choosing to remain hidden, equipped with a G36, a standard G36K, I believe. Again, one of X optic and 4X optic, relatively long barrel, decent accuracy, not bad, but nothing stellar either. And yet again, Napalm remains hidden in some rocks, waiting for something. It looks like T has come back, or is at least not fully leaving the area as of yet, which is interesting. He's simply fallen further back and is waiting for something, it would seem.
Thomas, can you put it up into sportsman stand for me?
So Shady and T remain in the same area, but again, not yet fighting each other as they haven't found each other. Shady continues to move through the buildings. He's gaining some small bits of confidence and beginning to carry out some looting. Napalm is currently talking with Gunner. Ice remains at his rock, and Wojciech has gotten past Ice as Ice decided not to fight. Although Ice probably still knows exactly where Wojciech is. We will be waiting for something to happen here. It looks like Napalm's on the move. talking with Gunner, Napalm has decided to move on to some location. He's currently heading straight towards ice. Roderick is also on the move. Napalm has gone straight to Ice's location. We'll see what's happening here. Ice has noticed that somebody has arrived and is turning to engage, causing potentially. We'll see what happens. It's awfully interesting how Napalm decided to come straight here. But it would seem that he's not interested in taking any fights right now. We'll see whether Ice decides to follow it up. Looks like Ice will be choosing peace for the time being, looking in the exact opposite direction that Napalm left. Potentially not knowing whether Napalm went that way or not. Wojak has moved from his location and is hiding out in some rock with the car left exposed, but probably won't be giving him away too much. He continues running around the wilderness, escaping Shady, and Shady remains looting this time, following Wojak has got an ice on Napalm and is engaging him now. Let's see how effective those shots are. Well, they seem to be falling short. But they hit his mark with Napalm being injured and forced to heal. Yet again, Shady and T are not yet fighting. They seem to be evading each other for the time being. And Ice, it looks like, will choose to stay at his position and let them duke it out on their own. This engagement is probably happening over a couple hundred meters. Let's find out exactly how far this engagement is. And I'll pull out my handy dandy rangefinder here. So this is the mark that Wojak is at. It looks like it's happening over the course of like 370 meters. So it's a decent range, but nothing too considerable. If we go cut back to Wojak, I don't believe Napalm got any shots off. No. If he did, they didn't hit him. No, they did not hit him because these were the injuries he took with the car crash earlier. Yet again, an engagement of about 300 meters, it would appear.
I am JP.
Gonna double check that I am indeed muted in TeamSpeak. That is correct. And back to business. They can hear me accessing my inventory. Right, let's look around. So Shady and T are moving away from each other. We have a few helicopters moving over with their cargo passing down. So Napalm and Wojak remain locked in a stalemate. T is moving away from Shady, although Shady's turning back and heading into town again, as you can see down over there. And Ice yet again remains hidden for the time being. Being stalked by Rat. Major airdrops have come from the helicopters now. Looks like Shady's been motivated to move in that direction. Wojak is definitely thinking about it. And if we turn to look at Napalm, the fight continues with explosions going on. Napalm tries a 40mm as his primary option. Misses the mark far left. He might not have a full idea of where Wojak is at the current time. That might be misguiding him. Another 40mm, let's see where it lands. Rather consistent, but I don't think he knows that Wojak has moved from that location a while ago. Let's quickly cut back to T and Shady. They don't know that the other is there. It looks like they're going to be going for the same drop here shortly, so they might be about to enter a lethal fight. Checking back in on the Wojak and Napalm fight briefly. Looks like Wojak is choosing to relocate or disengage. Napalm still holding his position strong, although pulling back from the fight. This is now the critical moment. Shady and T are right next to each other, concealed by the smoke. They might not know that the other's there, although T is definitely going to be hearing that vehicle coming up on him. Question is whether Shady knows that T is there. If we look at him through the smoke, Shady is busy looting, so it seems like he has no idea that T is right next to him in this moment in time. As you can see there, Napalm and Wojak have disengaged and have chosen not to fight each other for the time being, so we'll focus back on T and Shady. T remaining peaceful for the time being and choosing to hide rather than fight directly. This is giving Shady a chance to warm up, although getting back in the vehicle will now alert T of Shady's position. T choosing to hide out and not move. It looks like he got away with it for now. T is somehow hidden from Shady. Shady having driven right past T, although we'll see whether T decides to capitalize on that. He's standing up, choosing, and decides to run away for the time being and possibly back to the loot drops. Napalm is slowly turning back into the area, so he might be choosing to engage Wojak yet again, although Wojak has now long gone for a flanking maneuver on Napalm's original position. We'll see how that pans out in a minute. T is now moved to the airdrop that Shady previously looted. And going back to Napalm and Wojak, I just heard a gunshot, but they're not yet shooting at each other, not inside of each other as of the time being. Shady's definitely cautious of his right side, whether that's just because he knows the airdrops happen there, or whether he knows that T is there, I cannot tell you this time, but we'll see how the fighting pans out. I'll certainly be keeping an eye on them too, but for the time being, they don't know that the other's there. Well, Shady doesn't know that T's there. Wojak continues to slowly move towards where Napalm was, and I keep on hearing gunfire. Napalm has definitely chosen a quite sneaky spot to stalk Wojak's previous position. Again, they're chasing the ghosts of each other for the time being. Similarly, Shady continues to stalk the forests where T used to be. Remember, T was sitting right where my camera is, looking in that direction when they fought earlier. Wojak is continuing to move towards Napalm, unbeknownst to both parties. And yet again, Ice remains as Ice, doing nothing, passing through an open field, quite calm, enjoying a good mountain walk. Back to Wojak and Napalm, who are trying to kill each other. They haven't yet gotten close enough to kill each other, but they are slowly making their way up. Wojak is looking to crest that hill that Napalm's on top of, and I believe that'll give the advantage to Napalm, as Napalm has got a reverse crest, meaning that he can control how exposed he is better. And he's also got the grass, which, well, at this distance, the number 3 does play a factor. Although, if Wojak's graphics settings are low enough, Wojak will have no problem seeing right through it, as the grass will be entirely disabled. Quick check on T and Shady. They don't know that the other's there. They are looking away from each other, but Napalm, if he's third person peeking, will know that Wojak is right there, ready to go. Keep looking for a moment here, let's see what happens. Wojak's still having no idea that Napalm's right there. Ice is also slowly making his way to this hilltop. But it seems like Napalm's choosing to remain hidden if he knows that Wojak is there. Wojak is entirely turned around, having no clue that Napalm's right behind him at this time. And yet again, Shady and T have no clue that the other is present in that area, as they aren't even looking or searching for each other. Now, Napalm could right now choose to stand up and shoot at Wojak, potentially winning, considering that Wojak has his back turned and is not expecting it. Similarly, if Wojak decided to search the area, he would be definitely forcing a fight between the two, which he is at odds to lose, frankly, considering the positioning of both parties here. Napalm looks like he is taking advantage of that. He lands up a shot before he fires, and Wojak is unconned. Unlucky for him, he didn't search the hill fully, thus got caught out by Napalm, who was hiding at the very far back in a bit of grass. This is why you check everything before you assume it's safe.
Or dude.
That being said, that is the second time Wojak is uncon and the second engagement he's lost. So with that being said, it looks like it'll be finally his time to die, unless he somehow comes back again. Meanwhile, Ice continues to make his way down the hill, and he and Shady are still near each other, but far from actually meeting. Let's take a look at his...
I want the
injuries.
inventory.
Yeah, Wojak's definitely not gonna be coming back from this one. He is out of the fight for good.
That's a nice fall.
Looking back at T Shady, they remain hidden on a hill. I'm pretty sure they'll get cut out by the center being blocked. And there we go. Wojak is done.
What's up, Napalm?
Never mind.
Okay.
He already died.
Okay.
User left your
First,
channel.
I
Channel.
intervened to make sure he died this time, as his
User
injuries were
left your
entirely
channel.
unrecoverable unless he received
Bruh.
medical aid. So with that being said, that is it for Wojak. The players that remain are Napalm, Ice, Shady, and T, after Speed died in an engagement with Thomas, Wojak, and John. John and Thomas initially won that engagement, but Wojak managed to come back from unconscious and killed Thomas and John, winning the fight. That then leaves Napalm and Wojak for this fight, in which Wojak finally lost, leaving Napalm as the current victor of all of Wojak's fights. So, with that being said, T and Shady are looking in a position that they will be fighting each other shortly, although they are yet to directly meet head on head, apart from that initial gunfire all the way at the start of the round, as they have been managing to avoid each other barely at times. Ice continues to do his own thing in the middle of nowhere, just walking around and hiding in a bush, doing what Ice does. Quite peaceful. Going back. Shady is going back in his car and moving on. Leaving the area. Let's see, will T be able to use that? I gotta remember that every single time a player gets in a car, it's a lot more audible than walking. So let's see what T will do, if anything. Looks like T is gonna be bypassing Shady's position and knowing that Shady's there. Shady meanwhile continues to loot buildings in the area. Although T's continuing to get an eye on that little industrial zone, so he might actually know that Shady is in the area and might just be trying to get an advantageous position so that he can win. Yeah, he definitely knows Shady's there, one way or another. Keeps on looking in that direction and is clearly heading around it. Let's see, Shady's on the move now, leaving the area. Which T would be entirely unable to see, thankfully, because I think the angle of the hill is just long enough for him to not be able to peek over it. Normal third person peeking will give you about this much of a view at grand most, so probably has no clue that he's there. In fact, let's replicate it. Either there's an urgent coming to be dropped right between the two of them, that might turn them into some contention here, we shall see. It seems like things aren't heating up right now, so if I were to guess, unless the sectors start cranking down and pushing things closer, there won't be any fighting happening. As the players have really no reason to move from where they are right now. So, unless they choose to take the risk for the airdrop, which, considering their equipment, I would imagine unlikely, then they'll likely stay out of the fight and choose to work with what they've got. He remains entirely unfazed and unmoved by that airdrop, that's for sure. And it looks like Shady's probably bugging out. Choosing to relocate or just pulling a long flank to the airdrop, we'll find out shortly. Ice and Napalm have definitely found a happy place and it looks like they will not be moving anytime soon. Although Napalm does have an eye over those airdrops, so he might be able to get some sneaky kills with the 40mm. And again, Ice has found a bush and is happy. He has all he needs. He is man in bush. Happy. It looks like some of those airdrops are going to be, and of course I won't be hearing me interacting with the rangefinder, of course, which is what's catching him out so much probably. So I'll try and make it quick, but to that hill where T is at, 640 to the edge with the river, 50. So while there's a potential that Napalm might be able to sling a 40mm to some of these airdrops, notably this one maybe, if it's in view, which it appears not to be. The potential for Napalm actually killing an individual at any of these airdrops is, relatively speaking, low. As it would be further left than he can see, I believe. Unless I am blind. But Shady has regardless made his way up to Napalm. I'm gonna teleport myself away so as to not make any noise to distract him, and let's see what's happening. Shady has slowly made his way up that hill while Napalm has just been staying there. Looks like I got a medium revulsion, probably from getting armored and falling in somewhere or another. He's deciding to move a little bit, but again, T's out of the fight now. Napalm's moving around. He's definitely seen him now. Shady's got no idea what's coming. Napalm manages to mag dump, but not quite kill Shady. Shady survives and is now running down the hill. I can expect the 40mm to come. Napalm's pushing the advantage while he can, knowing that Shady is injured, but that might be a bad idea. Let's find out here.
Miss!
Shady definitely knows that Napalm's coming for him, putting 2 grenades out to try and pin him down, but they're to no effect. And is choosing to relocate while he still can. Napalm probably knows that he's moving around the rock to flank. Oh, he's unsure of himself though. He hasn't seen him run there, he's just guessing he's that way. Shady putting the long flank around to try and gain a more advantageous position so he can probably take a moment to heal. And right behind Napalm, while Napalm doesn't see him, as Napalm thinks he's behind a rock, which is not. Looks like Shady managed to get away with the flank. Just barely in time for Napalm to not see him do it. Now Shady is poised to destroy Napalm if he manages to get a drop on him before Napalm turns around. But Napalm for now continues to search the rock in case Shady was left behind. Remember, this was where Shady was hiding just before, so he's got all the reason to believe Shady's still there. Now let's see what Shady's thinking. Clearly going to be quite injured. Let's take a quick look. He's not too thoroughly injured, just a lot of blood loss, which is enough to actually on you if you're not careful. So he could fall on at some point or another here, unless he gets some blood into him. He'll want to be keeping that tourniquet on so that it causes pain and elevates his heart rate enough for him to not pass out. Meanwhile, Napalm has probably found out that he's been paid and that Shady has made his way out of the area. Ice is again doing his own thing, and so is T, so we'll continue focused on these two. So it looks like Shady's probably choosing to run away and disengage from this fight, while Napalm remains in the area, potentially confused as to where Shady went, or simply trying to figure out where he could find him. As Napalm was looking forward to getting a kill there, or a second one rather, but he dropped the ball with that engagement and Shady managed to escape. Shady, having now taken Napalm's vehicle, has chosen to leave the area. Will Napalm find out that he's taken his vehicle? It would seem not. So Shady has gotten away with it entirely, but he's heading back now towards Ice, so we have to be very, very careful that Ice doesn't come here. Now, considering how Ice has been playing, I'd imagine he's gonna let him by. Ice definitely knows that he's there. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like Shady looks like Ice has decided to let Shady get down. Meanwhile, Napalm setting in that general direction. T, in the meantime, has moved way up north. Probably taken a car ride and then legged it a bunch. But he again remains out of any fights for the time being. Napalm is heading in the direction of Ice now. Making sure that I'm going around in this group. Isn't showing up, but you know, gotta be careful. Let's see why Napalm chooses to dismount here. Let's see what he thinks is going on. Another helicopter airdrop coming by. Looks like there might be a fight between Napalm and Ice if he continues in this direction, but we'll find out. Buildings, but it looks like he might be walking into Ice's sights here. Let's find out. No clue about all this. Oh yeah, that was the ship crashing apparently. But it appears that Ice has eyes taking shots at him. This is in a tight spot. He's got no cover nearby in the middle of an open road and nobody injured from a previous battle. Ice has all the cover he needs nearby, but I think Napalm just so managed to hide behind some trees, foliage, and put the rocks between him and Napalm. Let's find out what Ice can see briefly. So that's where Napalm is. And yeah. Can't really see shit of Napalm right now. So Napalm's managed to get out of dodge for now, but whether that'll last, we'll see. Let's find out. We're gonna get the medical menu on him here and see how injured he is. It's a much better way now to think about it of checking. Napalm's definitely hurt quite bad, but it looks like he might have just gotten away with it. Again, lost a lot of blood is enough for someone to go unconscious, but if there's enough pain that can keep the heart rate up for him to not go unconscious, so he might get away with it. Similarly to how Shady remains alive. And let's see what Ice is choosing to do. Looks like Ice is choosing to stick to his position. Seems he's quite fond of that bush. And Napalm, having carried out some very basic healing, is moving towards cover very slowly. Now, I don't know if Napalm knows exactly where Ice is, but he definitely knows that he's somewhere on that hillside. Ice, on the contrary, knows exactly where Napalm should be, as he would have seen him get away in some other direction. Napalm is now going to be choosing to heal himself, stabilize his wounds so he can continue fighting. While Ice continues to keep an eye on him, but Ice has decided to begin pushing now. Looks like he is adamant to finish the job. He should have an eye on Napalm if he remembers where he is from that bush, but I don't believe he does. T is yet again moving slowly towards Shady's position as well, quite directly. Following that coastline along, we'll see whether they end up fighting soon. Let's go back to Ice and Napalm for the time being. So again, I don't believe Ice knows where Napalm is at this time. So in moving positions, he has managed to get out of Napalm's sights, but in doing so, he's also put Napalm out of his sights. Meanwhile, Napalm...
It's not sector 4. Fuck's sake. My leg's broken, I cannot run. Yeah. Thanks bro, appreciate it.
No dramas.
Love you.
Love you.
So it looks like as the units weren't provided with splints, I would hazard a guess that Napalm has just gotten a Zeus heal. Meaning that all those injuries and all that blood loss that he gained ahead of time is now gone. So he will no longer be impaired by the fight he had with Shady, the fight he had with Wojak, nor the fight he just had with Ice. Meaning that the playing field has now leveled yet again, and Ice is in serious risk of Napalm killing him, as Napalm no longer is fighting at a disadvantage from an injured, from an injured body. Now Napalm seems to know exactly which way Ice has gone. Well, not exactly, but roughly. T likely heard the gunshots a while ago, so he's probably keeping an eye in that direction, but he doesn't seem to be looking for a fight. And Shady, well, he found himself in his building, and he continues to loot like a gremlin. Wait, that box is not in my shoes. What the fuck? I have no idea what the box was, but it wasn't in my Zeus objects, meaning that it was spawned recently. It might have been a box spawned by a Zeus, considering I saw it get deleted there, no clue why. So we have Napalm heading straight towards Ice. Makes sense considering the foliage, they would both head in this direction, but quite unlucky for Ice now that Napalm's gotten the Zeus heal. Ice likely knows Napalm's coming, so he's ready in a bush and waiting. T is off doing his own thing. And Shady, having just accessed that mysterious box that's now disappeared, is chilling at that industrial area. Very slowly making this way forward. He looks to be trying to find a nice spot to ambush ice potentially, or maybe he's just trying to find a spot where he can scan the first one. I'm hearing a vehicle of some kind. Interesting enough, there is a civilian vehicle driving through. No clue what that has to do with anything. And it's just detonated, seemingly to, I guess, grab the attention of the players. I have no idea. So yet again, Napalm continues to slowly stalk the wood lines. Ice having found his bush, and he is quite happy there, watching to see if he can find Napalm. Or hear him, probably. He's probably looking at third person right now. He is yet again moving in the direction of Shady, unbeknownst to T, I believe, and Shady continues to stalk from the top of that building, but if he looks over at T, T is likely boned, which he doesn't seem to be doing, so for the time being, they remain unbeknownst to each other. Oh, that could very well change here in a second. Looks like Shady's trying to get down from the building, quite hurriedly. Quick check back at Napalm and Ice. Ice still doesn't know where Napalm is, neither does Napalm, it would seem. So back to Shady and T, we'll stick with these two until their fight ends. If there is a fight, yeah. T's currently peeking in third person over that wall. That's why he's looking down at the ground there, so let's see. And Shady's out of it! He had no clue that T was coming. And T managed to use the information disadvantage of Shady to beat him into it. So that'll be it for Shady. Well fought, but not well enough. And that also ends their long feud that's been ongoing since well, pretty much the very start of the round, with T being the final victor of that conflict. So, with that, let's go recap. At the very start of the round, Thomas, John, Speed, and Wojak came into an engagement all together. That was the first fight seen in the patch tournament. Out of that fight, Speed and Wojak were initially unconscious, with Wojak waking up after the fight concluded, and then using that advantage to kill Thomas and John. Somehow, Wojak managed to essentially wake up after being horribly injured, which was clearly very unexpected to Thomas, caught him off guard, and he managed to get a drop on him. So, after that first fight, the result was that Speed, Thomas, and John were killed. Wojak moved on, having received the Sue seal after that fight. From there on, the next engagement happened between Napalm and Wojak at the top of this mountain, where Wojak didn't know Napalm was there, assumed it was safe, and got shot in the back by Napalm, killing him. Then, Shady and Napalm had an engagement on this mountain as well, where Shady managed to escape, with Napalm getting bamboozled by a just-in-time escape by Shady, stealing his van and leaving to where he now died. After that, Napalm got shot at by Ice from the monastery, with him crossing the road here and getting caught out by Ice in the open. Napalm had his leg fractured and got a Sue seal for it, as he didn't have any splints, which leveled the playing field yet again, Napalm having previously been at a high disadvantage due to many injuries sustained. From there on, we come to
User
the
left
engagement
your channel.
where
Your channel.
T managed to get the drop on Shady
User left your channel.
and managed to end his patch competition. Now, T remains in his area, likely after the fight choosing to simply hide and play it safe. Ice is on the run from Napalm, as Napalm managed to essentially escape. And Napalm is very slowly looking for Ice. It's looking like Ice and T might come into a fight soon if they continue heading in the direction they're heading. Yeah, so T has found a position and is third person peeking over that hill to try and stay hidden and see anyone coming. Napalm is slowly moving towards the road, having found another bit of loot, and he will be probably continuing to move forward, sweeping to see if he can find Ice, using the advantage of the Susio gave him to try and win that fight. And Ice is continuing to move away, finding another bush room to stay in, and will likely be clearing and searching this entire area for loot. Either that, or he'll be hunkering down and trying to wait for Napalm to come to him. I will note that my armor 3 is kind of fucky, so there might have been a lot of chat messages that I might have missed. So, with that in mind, there might be some information the players got that I was not aware of, but regardless, you haven't missed anything of what the players are doing. So Napalm's decided to cross the road, and he'll be taking up position in that forest, with T and Ice remaining immobile. Another random vehicle explosion seems to have occurred. None of the players look too altered by this. Ice is looking in that direction but is unmoving, and T remains peeking over that hill. Now there's a potential if T looks to the left that he'll see Napalm. But I believe that won't be happening, as he'd really have to be looking for him to find him. And T's not currently expecting Napalm there, but he might cross into Napalm's line of fire. Or sorry, Napalm might cross into T's line of fire shortly. Ice has decided to lay down next to this bush instead of crouching inside of it, with Napalm laying down and potentially hiding himself in some foliage, or simply slowly moving into the industrial compound here. Ice seems to slowly be moving towards Napalm's position, and it looks like Napalm is going to be moving alongside the Wallet Industrial Compound. Remember, this is where T managed to kill Shady using that hill, so T's probably going to be quite happy to use that hill again to gain an advantage against anyone in there if he can. That being said, he isn't far enough up it to actually be able to see fully into the compound. He can only see the tops of the buildings, most likely. Let's check what he can actually see. So if I third person peek here, we can see
Fuck, he scared me.
Buildings. He's definitely gonna be using his ears and this third person peek to try and make sure that nobody gets a drop on him, but otherwise he really doesn't know too much of what's going on around him. And of course a little Zeus jump scare with me using my binoculars next to T. Napalm has moved now past that compound towards the vehicle explosion, with Ice choosing to hide in some foliage and sharing some colorful banter about how the previous fight was quite horrifying for him. So this is now Ice with new pants changed after that fight. Looks like T is choosing to take a look around things, see if he can see anything. Napalm's making his way towards that building next to the wreckage. And Ice is changing his pants in a bush after shitting himself due to the scare with napalm. So it would appear that napalm has taken up residence in one of the local buildings. And he'll be climbing the ladder up this awfully interesting elevator. Yeah, napalm's gonna be taking the lift manually up the building, it would seem. This building appears to have a roof access, which you can get to. So it appears he's making his way up manually. These sectors have shrunk yet again, so now, if we look around, we should be able to see a designation for what the valid sector is, although I cannot see that. It could very well be because of my being Zeus or something that I don't see the markers on the sectors. But the TLDR is that they are getting pushed together so that they slowly come into a fight. It's literally a battle royale, we've heard it before. So with that in mind, they are now having to move. I'd love to tell you where the sector lies now, but I frankly have no idea. Because the sector lines are gone from me, which is likely a bug. I think I know why. I think it is because I am hidden as a Zeus, meaning that I am a civilian. If I unhide myself, I might be able to see them, but we'll have to wait for another sector update to see the new sectors. So I'm going to teleport myself far away so that no players can see me and I will not disrupt the fight. And with that done, napalm's taking up residence at the top of his roof. He will be probably quite happy to exploit that from up there. T is hiding behind a transformer, likely stalking anyone, but he won't be able to see napalm. Napalm will definitely be able to see him if he looks over that way. Ice has taken up residence in yet another bush, which is quite a good position as it's generally hard to see people in the bush, and while napalm is looking that direction generally, it seems he has no idea that Ice is right there. I'm gonna try something to see if I can have the I'm going to put myself in the group of the other Zeus's to see if that makes the map icons refresh. Sadly did not, so I will not be able to see the sectors. So it's clear that Ice is confused as to which sector he's in at the current time. Here he is. Sector has shrunk again. It appears that the sector's now just this tiny box right there. So they are being pushed into this tiny little box. And things are about to get quite spicy. Ice is in the sector. He's getting shot at by napalm, who is outside of the sector. It appears Ice has been unconned by napalm shooting from outside of the new sector. I have no clue whether any action will be taken about that, but if there is no action taken, that will be Ice out of the fight. He would have definitely heard Napalm shooting up from up there, so he'll know that Napalm's on that roof of the building. But Napalm's gonna be having to relocate soon, as he is not in the sector. Ice being killed in the sector as the only person within it. Which I'm sure the Zeus are aware of, so we'll see whether they're taking a mitigating action or not. And that is Ice dead. He is gone. Being killed by Napalm. Napalm now chooses
User
to
left your
relocate
channel.
and move back into the sector.
User left your channel.
Unlucky for Ice, but such is the way these things go. T is now in the sector finally. Napalm still remains outside of the sector. Slowly making his way down from the building. We shall see which of the two fighters will win. So another recap of the fights.
I was about to wake up.
First dead were Thomas, John, and Speed in an engagement that occurred between Thomas, John, Speed, and Wojak. After Wojak woke up from being unconned by Thomas. So he managed to get a drop on him and turn the fight around to win. Then he escaped, having received a social afterwards, and got away. The next fight happened between... There was a brief engagement between T and Shady, which none were injured, and Shady got away unscathed, T having opened fire. Then, if I remember correctly, there was another fight with Napalm and Wojak. Wojak having made his way up to the top of the mountain. But Napalm was up, and Napalm shot him in the back. Wojak not realizing that Napalm was present at that hill. Napalm's also now taking up residence in another building within the sector. Afterwards, Shady made his way very slowly towards Napalm and engaged Napalm. Shady managed to escape by putting a last-minute flank that allowed Shady to get out without Napalm knowing it, stealing his truck and disappearing. Napalm then tried to chase Shady down, coming into the line of fire of Ice, which Ice shot at him but didn't manage to kill him. Ice then ran and landed all three players here. Shady was then killed by T in that industrial building over there, with T getting the drop on him through third person peeking while Shady was on the roof. After which, Ice then got killed now by Napalm from the roof of this building outside the zone after shrinking with a front-wing grenade. And now we are here with T and Napalm, the last two players. T is making his way into the zone. Napalm has finally moved into this zone and the next shrink didn't keep him out of it. So he will be able to maintain his position within that building for the time being. Although if the zone shrinks further, that might put Napalm in a pickle.
So did Napalm actually see him move, or did he just randomly fire into the field?
Ice, stay muted for now.
So, T's got eyes on Napalm, fires, and Napalm's on con. That is it. It appears the fighting is over. T got the drop on Napalm. Napalm not checking his left side, not seeing that T was in that little bit of foliage. Probably got a little bit used to being in a building nice and safe. Regardless,
User left your
well
channel.
played to all, and that is it.